My name is Joel Reinstein. I'm with the Rhode Island chapter of Jewish Voice for Peace. We're here to deliver over 50 letters signed by our members to Senator Jack Reed, and we're also going to be delivering them to Representative Magaziner, demanding a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip. So since October 7th, Israel has cut off food, water, power, and fuel to over 2 million Palestinians in the Gaza Strip. Yeah, hell yeah. Israel's killed over 8,500 people in Gaza, including over 3,500 children. Numerous human rights organizations have sounded the alarm about blatant war crimes that Israel is committing in Gaza. This genocidal brutality will not bring peace. Here in the United States, anyone who speaks out for Palestinian rights faces false accusations of anti-Semitism in an unprecedented wave of McCarthyite silencing that has nothing to do with protecting Jews. We're here to say that this McCarthyite silencing and false accusations of anti-Semitism is not about protecting Jewish people. It's about protecting apartheid and protecting the profits of defense contractors profiting off this carnage. So we condemn that silencing and that McCarthyite repression. We're here as Jewish Voice for Peace to make it clear that we condemn the genocidal violence that's being carried out in our name. We demand a ceasefire. We want an end to the humanitarian catastrophe that Israel is visiting on over 2 million people in the Gaza Strip. We want all Israeli hostages to return home safely to their families. We want over 4,000 Palestinian workers who've been arrested by Israel and are being held right now in detention camps also return safely to their families. We're here to demand a ceasefire. And so with that, I want to pass it off to Jen Steinfeld, who's also going to talk about why this is important to her.
Hi, I'm Jen Steinfeld, and I'm an anti-Zionist Jew, and I'm here to say not in my name. We're here today to deliver postcards from our community to Senator Reed, who represents our voices, but he is not representing our position right now. Senator Reed is an important leader here because he's on the Senate Armed Services Committee, and he is a veteran himself. He is looked to as a leader in that community, and we want him to take a stand in support of a ceasefire now. That ceasefire includes no more bombing by Israel, no more violence by Hamas, and an immediate release of the hostages, as well as humanitarian aid coming into Gaza to support all of those civilians that are being impacted right now by this bombing campaign. I also want to say, I grew up in Pittsburgh. I grew up in the neighborhood where the Tree of Life shooting happened. That was anti-Semitism. I woke up Friday morning, which was the 5th anniversary of that shooting, to everyone speaking the 11 names of those people who were killed, and may all those may their memories be a blessing. But also a list of 7,000 people who have been killed in Gaza, and we will never be saying those names like we do those 11. So I just want all the violence to stop, and I do not want this to be carried out in my name, in the name of my ancestors. And if we can all just say together, not in our name.
Not in our name.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. That was really powerful. I also want to, Eli's going to also give some remarks about, why he's here today.
Yeah, this is my message to Senator Reed, which we're here outside of his offices, and hopefully his staffers will receive this. But hi, Senator Reed. Every day since October 7th has been sorrowful for me. What's left me particularly gutted and empty feeling is witnessing Israel carrying out their crimes in broad daylight, articulating their racist, murderous campaign in real time, and then sharing this messaging loudly and clearly on a global scale. Its reception in the U.S. and its allies, we have endorsed the massacres in unambiguous terms in broad daylight. I'm not a historian, but never in my short life can I remember murder and rage of this scale being defended and promoted in public so quickly, and it's a nightmare. So I'm here as a Jew with fellow Jews and as your constituent to demand that you call a ceasefire in Gaza now. I'm here as a grandson of a Holocaust survivor who turned 97 last week, and who the United States, in supporting Israel's war, has cursed with the horror of watching genocide unfold again in his name and in our name and in all of our names. In recent weeks, I've heard more American elected and appointed officials temper their message that Israel has the right to defend itself with calls for Israel to follow the rules of war and open up humanitarian aid corridors. And I'm here to say something that you, as a senator, already know. You cannot have it both ways. The U.S. cannot stand behind Israel funding its massacres of collective punishment against Palestinian civilians while also playing the role of superpower mediator and voice of peace and democracy. This is a morally bankrupt position, and me and the world and all of us Jews here see through it. The Jews calling for peace in Washington, D.C. and Grand Central Station in New York and around the world see through that. The hundreds of thousands of peaceful protesters in London see through it, and countless more throughout the world are not turning their eyes away from Israel's US-backed war crimes. The first step and the only ethical thing to do right now is to call for an immediate ceasefire. This bloodshed cannot continue on my tax dollars.
Thank you, Eli. So with that,
I
might take an apple pie.
definitely should have done that.